What's up, guys? It's your girl Misha here, and welcome back to Stroking It to Your Highest podcast. And so today we are just gonna talk a little bit and about just the whole stroke process that I went through. I don't want to just jump into like strategies of living your highest because there's people that may be listening that may just had a stroke or in recovery, very new within 6 months or less, that are listening to these recordings in search of finding somebody that they can relate to as they lay in their bed listening to this, or they're listening to it as they're working out in recovery, etc. So I just want to go back to April when I had my stroke of 2021. So it was a weekend, and so I woke up on a Sunday morning and I was weak. And I was weak on my right side, as if I had slept on that side too much. And it needed to, regain its the blood flow or whatnot, the tingling, shall I say, when your limbs go sleep and you wait for that tingling feeling to come back. And so I noticed that it was not happening. I laid in bed Saturday, the whole day, the whole 24 hours. And later on that night, I noticed I was really weak when I went to use the restroom, kind of like had to catch myself from falling. And so I told my son, I said, if the feeling doesn't get better in the morning, then I'm going to go to the hospital. And so fast forward to Sunday morning, it's like 6:30 in the morning, and I went to the bathroom and it was worse. Like my son had to help. Like he caught me right before I guess I had to catch myself. And I went on to the hospital, and immediately I was put in the back. That's when the stroke symptoms really started hitting me, because they sent me to the bathroom to give a specimen of urine. I could not get that specimen of urine. I waste urine everywhere. It's like my weakness started literally deteriorating in front of my eyes. I was able to slide to the get to the bathroom. I was sliding back with every strength that I had. And that's when I knew, okay, something wrong. Something is really going on, because I'm getting very weak. Anyways, they get me to the back, up to the stroke, because the symptoms that I had off top, they were like, yeah, you're having stroke symptoms. And so they got me to the stroke unit, and then they started running tests, and they did the MRI, and I did have a stroke. I had a large stroke at that. But they just couldn't understand why. They did all this blood work, and I didn't have any for sure signs to tell them why I had a stroke at 38 years old. So here I am sitting up there, and I have a team of people around me that are really clueless. And I had to stay on the stroke unit in the hospital for a week. And in that week, they put me on steroids, because let me back up a little bit. By the time I got up to my room, my right side was completely gone. There was nothing. I couldn't do anything. So immediately they put me on steroids. The steroids started working. I can say it started working within 24 hours, because I was able to kind of wiggle my fingers a little bit, but no big action. So yeah, they was sending in their occupational therapists, and they was constantly sending me to get tests, because they wanted to test everything. I think I had a total of 4 MRIs by the time I left the hospital, because they just couldn't understand. It was a clot, but where did the clot come from? Did I have a heart issue? What's going on? They thought I had multiple sclerosis. They test for that. They test all up and down my spine. I don't know what other tests they have, but they did everything to try to rule out what caused this stroke. The only abnormal thing that raised questions was my platelets were through the roof, and my blood and hemoglobin was out of here. I had no blood, and my vitamin D was extremely low, so I was out of vitamin D. no iron. Blood was extremely low. I think they gave me a bag of iron or blood. I'm not sure because it was so early on. I think they could have gave me blood and iron or one or the other. Yeah, so I went through that. And the first thing that I noticed was denial, right? I was in denial. I just couldn't, I was in denial like this is happening to me. It was like an out of body experience. Like, I guess it's happening, but you're not present. I can't explain it. But anytime somebody asks me like, how did you get through it? How did you feel? I can't really answer that. It was an out of body experience that I knew I was experiencing, but I wasn't experiencing it. If that makes sense, it felt like I was watching a movie of myself that I was in, but I was in such big denial because I thought, okay, I've been here a week, I can go home. And I hadn't even begun my journey to recovery. I just assumed because I used to be a CNA, I've helped plenty of people transfer, bathe, I've cleaned people in beds, I've changed occupied beds. Before I got so confident, I had a reckoning. It was really my bottom, my like, hello, yeah, you did have a stroke. So I thought I could make my way to turn off the lights to my room. And so I'm like, I could just, hobble over there and get it and get back to my bed. The moment I hit the floor, I hit the floor. Like the moment my feet hit the floor, I went down and I just eased myself down onto the floor. And that's when I realized I can't walk. I can't walk. I can't do anything on this right side. I can't. I tried so hard, guys. Just visualize being on a floor, a cold floor, and no matter what you are doing, you cannot get up. I tried, but my right side was not listening to me at all. It was straight dead. So I'm like trying to pull on my lunch tray, trying to like pull myself up. I didn't have the strength. So I eventually gave up and I just laid there on the cold floor. And I'm just like, somebody will come in here. And I just laid there. And eventually my aide came through and he hurried up and got me up in the bed. And of course they put me on a alarm on my bed because they thought that I was going to continue to do that. But I wasn't. That was my wake up call. If I needed to know, am I really going through this? That was like the shook that really like slapped me in the face while I was in the hospital to make me decide, okay, you need real recovery because you really just had a stroke, girl. Like I'm so used to being strong, so used to not really being sick and all of that. So it really was a hard pill for me to swallow. It was so hard that they had to call, their caseworkers in to like influence me to leave when I leave the hospital to go to a rehab because I thought I can do it. I'm like, I'm good. I know how to pivot. I could pivot to my bedside commode, pivot to my wheelchair. Like I was like, I can do this. And they was like, no, you're too young. And that's when I got introduced to neuroplasticity. And they explained it to me. The sooner you start your recovery with physical therapy, the sooner you'll start creating new neural pathways for you to eventually walk again. If you do this now, you can have your chances of walking and getting your arms and your whole right side back very quick. And so after, not being stubborn anymore, understanding that I really had something big has happened to me, I have to sit back and listen to the instructions in order to get myself back right. And so I agreed, and then that began my journey to the rehab facility where I stayed for another 3, almost 4 weeks until I was released to come back home. And now I'm here. So it is a long journey, but it was a quick journey because all of this happened. I was in the hospital a month. So between the hospital and rehab, that's a total of a month. I was back walking without a cane at all, or even my brace in 3 months. So it came from having a definite goal, like a desire and a goal and visual. And I just was on fire every single day, doing what I was supposed to do. I was creating those neural pathways and they were firing off, honey. Every day something new was happening when the doctor was to come in. I was reclaiming my strength every single day. And I just want to reach back and talk and remember those times as I create this podcast, as I share my journey to my happiness where I'm at now. I'm in such a better place, but it took a while to get here. And I know there are people that are there now, and so I understand. And so that's the reason why I went back and talked about this. This is at the very, very beginning. When you have something like this happen and you got to catch up with your brain. You got to catch up with what's happening. And that's what happened with me at the beginning. I was in denial from the moment I woke up in my home. I stayed there a whole 24 hours, which worked against me because me staying home instead of going straight to the emergency room Saturday caused my stroke to get bigger and the swelling on the brain. And that is what caused my right side paralysis, because had I went straight to the hospital, they could have been able to probably stop or stop the swelling from even beginning, or whatever they do to help, when you're in the process of having a stroke. I could have helped myself, but I was in denial at first. And I tell anybody, if you have any symptoms, and I know better, like I say, I'm in healthcare, so I do know the seriousness of a stroke. But again, you don't think anything like that will happen to you. But I'm here to tell you, no matter how old you are, your race, your sex, you can. So, make sure you take care of yourself. You are the number one person that's going to benefit you. Without you can't do nothing. You can dream, you can wish, you can love on everybody, you can take care of everybody, but once you're exhausted, there is nothing else. So I learned the hard way to take care of myself, and that's what I just want to remind anybody that may be listening that never had a stroke. Never think you can't have a stroke, or it might not be a stroke, it could be something else. Just take care of yourself. Stay on your labs. Me being anemic for 10 plus years, playing with myself, not taking my iron pills. I had a drawer full of iron pills when I had that stroke that my doctors had prescribed to me previously. And me just not taking them, not putting myself first, my health, thinking that you're going to be strong all the time. You're going to be go all the time. And your body will say no. To this day, I still don't have a definite reason why I had the stroke, no more than to use it as a teaching moment for myself, because I did come back so strong. I can look back on that and always be grateful for where I'm at, and remember to take things slowly and love myself and take care of myself, and I just want to share that with you. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, just go ahead, follow me on all of my socials. It is the same name, Stroking It to Your Highest. Again, I want to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I will see you guys in my next one. Oh yeah, and Happy New Year.